Welcome to the Western Grunge Tape Deck. I am here with Sunshine James for our third artist spotlight. So, Sunshine, do you just want to give us a rundown and how you got into music?
Yeah, I'm Sunshine James. I'm from Arizona, third generation country artist, trying to be, and just been playing out nonstop since I was 18 and 15 years ago. And yeah, just now been in Nashville 5 years, running down this dream.
Awesome. So I became familiar with you through my partner, who is an acquaintance of yours.
Mm-hmm.
That was recently in one of your music videos. So that's how I found you, was opening that video to see his wonderful acting, and then you starring in that music video. So that song was called 27. I know you've come out with a couple more since then, but could you tell me a little bit about how that song came to be and how that music video came to be?
The song, I've just always been made fun of by my friends for having dad vibes since I was like 12 years old. I've just I grew up around old guys, hung out with old guys, old cowboys and shit, and so I just kind of I think I was 26 or 27, and I just that line just popped out of my mind. 27, I'm a middle aged man. I was like, all right, and I just kind of wrote down funny stuff, just making fun of it, and it's not so much a country song. It's probably more red dirt and a little rocking, but yeah, it's just a goofy song making fun of myself for being way older than I am my whole life. And then
That's
as the video was, we didn't really have a plan for it, and I just kind of we were like dudes do. We just sit around and come up with skits, and we just come up with scenarios that aren't real, and until we die laughing. And then we did that with the director Justin over his company's BCAM, and Ethan was amazing playing drums and the concept. It's I don't know, just it was literally any guy who's ever sat around saying stupid stuff like, man, we should be filming this, and I got to do it. So that's the video for 27. Stupid skit.
I love that though. No, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's three dudes in a garage cover band, and there's some great lines in there for sure. So you mentioned that song's a little bit more red dirt. On Western Grunge, we kind of cover a little bit more alternative country, a little bit more red dirt country in general.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason that I personally was drawn to your music, is for being a Nashville artist. You do have a lot of these kind of Oklahoma, Texas sound to it, a little bit more of a rougher sound. So is that kind of the sound that you've always been drawn to, or you always had?
Yeah, I mean, I so my grandfather basically would roll his eyes and turn down the stereo if I was at his house cranking Garth or Tim McGraw, because he was Ernest Tubb and Johnny Rodriguez, Johnny Cash, and so I grew up on the old classic stuff and some of that Western swing, some gospel and bluegrass thrown in, and then I got older, and this band comes out of nowhere called Nickelback, and I'm obsessed. I'm in love. And I remember my grandpa was so disappointed. He's just like, I thought you loved country. I go, I do, Grampy, I swear, but Nickelback's cool. And so I spent my whole life defending Nickelback. But that Chad Kroeger is a huge influence on me. So it's kind of just a balancing act between Ernest Tubb and Brooks and Dunn and Travis Tritt and Waylon Jennings with Nickelback, Shinedown, and Seether, Pantera, Metallica.
Man, I love that. So you would not believe this, but Nickelback has gotten brought up on like our last four interviews, like with every every artist we interview,
Good.
and it's not even us bringing it up; it's everybody else. So I don't know what's going on, but our opinion. I speak for the entire podcast, that we are all big Nickelback fans, and if you're not a Nickelback fan, you're just wanting attention, according to Gracie York. So
Yeah.
no, that's great. Glad to hear it.
Have you
So
seen that
that
new
definitely,
shirt? It says Nickelback fan or liar.
Oh my god, no,
That's
I
that's
haven't, but I
I've been
love
saying
it.
that my whole life, so I'm so glad that anyway, I'll geek out about Nickelback for 45 minutes if you let me.
I love that. So you're on the right side of history is what's really happening right now.
Yes, yes.
So you sound like you have a lot of kind of rock or early 2000s rock influences, and you mentioned a couple other like older country bands. Is there any artists or bands specifically that you took a lot of musical influence from?
Probably Travis Tritt's a big one. Travis Tritt's probably he's I idolized the hell out of that guy since I was 14 years old, and probably for the reason that I love Ernest Tubb all the way to Pantera. So it's that he kind of took traditional country and put a boot in the ass, and so it's just yeah, Travis Tritt's probably who I steal from the most.
No, so I kind of was curious about this. So you do live in Nashville. You've been in Nashville. How long did you say? 4 years?
I just hit 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your decision to move from Arizona to Nashville? What was the pull to Nashville?
Well, I've always Nashville was always kind of the goal, and I moved around a bunch. I grew up in Arizona. We lived in Coppell, Texas for a couple of years when I was little. Went back to Arizona, then to Buffalo, New York when I was 16, and then back to Arizona. And then I lived in Colorado for 5 years. I started a label, built studios. We were going to do it out there. I was with a girl that I thought I was going to marry. So it was just kind of like everything was great in Denver. But, it was never, I always wanted, Nashville was always on the back of my mind. And then that all fell apart. The label, the studio, the relationship, all at once, it just kind of crumbled. So I took out back to Arizona. I was like, all right, it's time for Nashville. I bugged my one buddy who I knew was out here. So as soon as you know about someone needing a roommate, let me know and I'll be there. And that's what he did. And I came out here and I didn't get a real job. I was living on, after paying rent, about $7 a week. And sorry, a fan just fell over. I was living about $7 a week. So ramen and eggs, and then whoever would buy me a drink at the bar. My sweet sweet friends that took care of me till from July to November when I finally started working regularly as a musician. I haven't had to have a real job since.
That's amazing. And I honestly have heard that kind of echoed with other people in Nashville too, is
Mm-hmm.
just how much of a community there is with musicians there.
Yeah,
And I know Nashville gets kind of a bad rep, especially in more of like the Texas and Oklahoma communities. But since I've been spending a lot more time there recently, I've definitely seen, the community aspect there has been huge,
yeah,
and how much musicians support each other. So
yeah,
that's really awesome to hear that it's worked out, well for you and that you've had almost complete strangers kind of help you out too to
yeah.
help you reach your goals.
Yeah, when I met Ethan, someone was trying to hook us up, and she's like, "My buddy Sunshine needs a drummer." And then Ethan and I were talking, and I could tell he was. And I looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, if we never play music together, we're we're cool. I've always got your back. Otherwise, I'm always gonna like if you need help with other people, you want to go work, you want to go do the rock thing, whatever you want to do, like, we'll support each other, man. That's what we." And he was like, "Dude, thanks for saying that." And since then, we've been so close, and I love that guy to death. But the community's great, and anywhere you go, there's gonna be good, bad, and I know it sounds cliche, but there's assholes everywhere, and there's good people everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And so since your music is a little bit, I guess right now, especially, Nashville country is moving again more towards a pop direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing a lot of pop artists experiment with country. We're seeing a lot of newer up and coming artists like kind of lean more towards pop. Um, I wouldn't consider your music very pop at all. And you kind of mentioned you're more into that rock sound. So how do you differentiate? How does your music kind of translate to a Nashville crowd? Or do you mostly look outside of Nashville to play your music?
I mean, it gets a. I don't know. I don't know. That's tough because I've got blinders on. I've just kind of done whatever I want, how I want it forever. And that's not some big anti-Nashville, anti-anybody. It's just how I operate. And I want to put out the best product possible that's going to represent me and my sound and what I'm doing at the moment and how the song feels. And song's number one. I think that's a big, where Nashville, even if you don't like the snaps and claps and the hip hop style, there's songs I'll play acoustic on Broadway. I'll get a request for a Sam Hunt song or something. I go, damn, that's a really good song. I just didn't like the production on it. And that's how it's always been. There's people forget about a lot of Waylon and Willie stuff that we're not huge fans of, that they got a little weird on, or they got a little, like, Willie has a reggae record and I don't like it. That's okay. It's, yeah, we kind of celebrate these little niches of 10 songs from all these outlaw guys, and then everyone bases their whole career on that. And like, man, there's so much good you can take from everything and everywhere. And I honestly don't fully remember your question, so I don't even know if I just answered it.
No, I think that's a great response, and I think that's something that, you know, we all got to keep in mind every once in a while, is that, you know, artists are going to have you know, they're going to have hits, they're going to have misses, and it's pretty easy to forget about the misses, which at the end of the day is a good thing. But you try to stay pretty original to your music and your sound and what you like, so you're not you don't feel super heavily influenced by kind of your surroundings or other people you play with.
Yeah, I know. The lucky thing about being a nobody with 1,000 streams on each song is I get to do whatever I want and make me happy. And, you know, I hang out with guys and gals that I think are better than me, and I try to be around people that I know are better than me. And I just want to do for people what Hank Cochran and Dennis Lindsay did for me. Just put out songs that affect you and speak to the common people.
So I do want to kind of go back on that a little bit. You mentioned you were living in Colorado for 5 years or 5 years ago. Yeah, so that's quite a while.
5 years ago and 5 years, yeah.
Man, okay, so 10 years ago, you're living in Colorado. We're not going to do math here. You are 27, right? That's the age that came out in that song.
Yeah, 27.
Perfect. See, yeah. You've aged yourself in that way. So you have a song called Colorado, and it is a very sad song about a relationship not working out in Colorado. So when did you write that song, and was that kind of your inspiration behind it, was moving out of there?
Yeah, that was the first song I wrote in Nashville. I was sitting on the couch, door was propped open, and it was just a beautiful storm coming through. It was pouring rain, and I was like, oh, I'd never experienced the South really, and so it was just cool getting acquainted with it. And then, yeah, I was just staring out the door and plucking on the guitar, and that line came to my head. I get a funny feeling every time it rains that you're thinking of me, and I think so, whatever the line is, that you feel the same or whatever. And so that was just putting life to paper.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's a very well written song, and it's definitely a good sad cowboy vibes, as we like to say. So that's really cool that, you know, you put yourself in that moment when you're writing those lyrics, of kind of sitting at you know, first song in Nashville, first kind of summer storm in Nashville, it sounds like.
Yeah,
man. So kind of speaking of your discography here, who would you, two questions, who would you want to cover one of your songs, and which song would you want them to cover?
Oh, I've never even thought about that. I think Dierks Bentley, he's from out where I'm from, and people have told me that Wild Wild West and Colorado, and that kind of have Dierks Bentley vibes. So I think Dierks Bentley could do Colorado really well his way. So that'd be cool.
That would be cool. We've gotten Dierks Bentley a couple times on here, I think.
Really? But just a cliche, man.
No, it's, you know, it's somebody I don't think of very often. too, which I think is great that he gets a lot of respect from fellow musicians. And I've only
He's a
heard good
stud.
things. He is, yeah.
He writes his ass off. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just think he's a pop star. He's a songwriting. Those are his songs on those first few records. He had to make records intentionally written by other people to like revamp his sound. That's wild.
Yeah, I hear him get a lot of respect from other musicians specifically, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely in Nashville. So, and his bar in Broadway also gets a pretty good rev, I would think.
Pretty
But
rep. Yeah.
it's been there a while, so you know that he's got something good going on.
Yeah, he does a couple things right.
So, second question is if you could open for any artist, it doesn't even have to be country, but if you could open for any artist, your direct support right before they go on stage, who would it be?
Well, I got to open for Travis Tritt, so that was cool. So I got to say somebody else because there's so many. Oh my god, I'd love. I work for him, and we're I don't know how to call our relationship because I work for him, but we're buddies, and he's been really kind to me with a lot of advice and telling good stories. But Mark Chestnut,
Okay.
just probably the last. There's no crooners left like him of that old school and buddies with George Jones and Waylon Jennings. He's kind of the last torchbearer. So I'd love to get that opportunity.
Oh yeah. What do you get a lot of like really good stories from him as far as, how
Dude,
much he's been out?
oh my god! All I got if it's quiet on the bus, and it's pretty rare that it's quiet, I just got to say something about like I'll just say something about Waylon or George, and then Mark will be, man, you know what? And he just goes into a story, and I'm just like a little kid, like yes, go.
Story time.
Yeah, oh my, it's so much fun.
That's awesome. No, it sounds like a good crew to be with. For sure. How long have you been working for him?
About a year, just slinging swag and running the social media, and yeah, that whole crew it's a big family, and I beg them all. I'm like, why are you guys not writing books and podcasts? They go, because our friends will kill us, man.
You gotta wait to put all that out after.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna start recording you guys, and then when all of you are gone, then I can start doing stuff. So about
Start
20,
sharing the
30 years.
stories.
Yeah.
No, I love that, especially a lot of those older guys that they'll jump on, a podcast very rarely, or they'll share a story. You're like, what? I never heard about this from the '70s. Like, when did this happen?
And that's what I tell Mark. I go, man, we want to hear this stuff. And he goes, no, I'm all right.
It's all lore, at the end of the day. It's all
So good.
man. Okay, so you've opened for Travis Tritt. You're on the road with Mark a lot. What is your favorite venue or kind of your favorite area to tour?
I love Texas. I've always loved Texas, but like, man, I'm trying to think of my favorite venue. We did, what did Mark do? Boots and Roots Festival? No, not Boots. It was Boots and something. And I can't remember the town. That was a really cool festival. And Jake Worthington played right before him. And Jake Worthington's hero is Mark Chestnut. And so that was cool to watch them interact and
Yeah.
see the bands. Golly, the theaters are great. I'm trying to think of, man, I don't know. Anytime I'm on a stage with a crowd, because there's tiny little bars where there's 47 people, and I'm like, this is the greatest night of my life.
Really?
Yeah, and then
That's
sometimes you
awesome.
get in front of a few hundred people, and it's a dead crowd, and they just couldn't care less. So I guess it just depends on the people. I love all venues. Anytime I'm on stage, I'm happy. I make the record so I can go do the live stuff.
Okay. So yeah, being
Yeah.
out on the road and being on stage is where you like to be.
That's a sick obsession, being on the road. I get I get twitchy after about a week.
at home after about a week at
Yeah,
home, then you're like, I got to be back out there.
yeah, I gotta go.
I hear that a lot too. I don't know how you guys do it. It's a wild life for sure.
Yeah, you got it, because I want to know what your truck stop looks like in Wichita, Kansas. Like I've been there. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it's just an itch to just go, go, go.
Man, you know, I actually just before I moved to Texas this year, I lived in Wichita.
Did
That's
you
funny you
really?
bring that up. Yeah.
Nice.
So, which one in Wichita did you go to, or what gas station was it?
Because I used to drive. I would drive back to Colorado, and I couldn't even tell you. Whatever the unit is that
That would
70?
probably be I-70 goes through this like central Kansas, so it's just south of
Okay,
I-70.
yeah. And my dad he used to work, and he would be in Wichita a lot. There's a place called Joe Kelly's. That was his. We have like a coffee mug. That's my favorite coffee mug in the world.
Joe Kelly's
And
in Wichita,
Joe Kelly's
Kansas.
in Wichita, Kansas. And
I never been there.
I love that mug, and I've never been to that place, and I'm like, I want to go there,
I
just
love that.
just to see it. Be like, oh, cool, my dad is here. All right, next, let's go. Like, I don't know, man, it's stupid, but I
You
love
just
it.
like being in a place just to say you've been there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
man. So okay, on the topic of gas stations, we like to ask two questions always. First of all, what is your favorite road snack? If you are out on the road and you're stopping at a gas station, a Buc-ee's, whatever it is, what's your favorite thing to grab for the car?
If I'm at Buc-ee's, it's the chicken burrito.
Chicken
People are
burrito.
all about the brisket. I get it.
Hmm.
Brisket's popular right now. Even most people can't do brisket right. Well, that's a whole different podcast. But those fajita chicken burritos are huge and amazing. But mostly it's popcorn, pork rinds, and the peanut butter pretzels. Those are my go-to.
Peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah,
Man, that's a new one.
I'm fat, so stuff moves slow, and when you're sitting there, it's best you just don't. So protein shake is what I'll do that. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. So do you ever get Pringles when you're at a gas station or on the road?
I don't, but the bus just had Pringles in the stock. We had everything bagel, chili cheese fries, and something ranch, some sort of ranch. It wasn't normal ranch.
Those are new flavors to me.
Yeah, same
So
here. I was holy shit.
so we're slowly convincing Pringles to sponsor this podcast. So we need to know what your favorite Pringles flavor is.
Sour cream and onion, pizza, or the original ranch.
All right.
Probably if I had to pick one, sour cream and onion. I could eat 10
Classic.
canisters of Pringles. I love Pringles. We love Pringles so much. So much.
Did you hear that, Pringles?
Hashtag Pringles.
Oh my god. Man, so outside of, being on the road, gas stations, when you're on the road, are you listening to anything in particular? Are you listening to different music? Are you listening to podcasts? What's been on your playlist lately?
Podcast. I can't stand music anymore. Like, I'll have
Really?
moods because I just drove back home to Arizona and back, so it's 24 hours each way. So music comes on, but I think it's just because we do it nonstop. I'd rather listen to Rich Eisen or Two Bears, One Cave.
Man, so you gotta do the talk radio or talk
Yeah.
podcast. So you can't listen to any more music than what you've already got going on.
Yeah, and I mean, there's times where I'll hit the mood, but yeah, it used to be music 24/7, but yeah, now that I do it full time, it's all I do. Yeah, it's I just had something and I forgot. Yeah, podcast and Two Bears, One Cave, Rich Eisen.
Man, yeah, that's gotta be wild. I went through a phase where I definitely took a pretty big break from music, where I was just listening to podcasts, and now I'm kind of back on that music train again. But
Nice.
do you keep up with kind of the newer music coming out then, or do you feel like you're kind of are kind of in the dark?
I'm still looking for a different cut of old Waylon. the record. Oh, I'm always looking for some stupid deep cut of Johnny Rodriguez did. I'm still searching through the old stuff. So when it's 10 times platinum, that's when I'm aware of it for new music.
Man, all right.
Like someone asks for new music, and I'll be like, Red Dirt Road, perfect. They're like, that's 20 years old. I go, is it? 25? Is it?
Time flies, you
That's
know?
new Brooks and Dunn to me.
Well, they are doing their reboot. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Yeah. Did you see what Jake Worthington's going to sing?
I haven't. I know I haven't looked at the track list or anything.
One of my favorite Brooks and Dunn songs. He's doing "I'll Never Forgive My Heart." That is pure, straight down the pipe, amazing songwriting in country. That is, I'm so excited to hear what he does with that.
I'll have to look and see who's on it. I just saw a very brief list come up, but I haven't looked it up. So are you like really looking forward to, or is that one piece of music that you're actually going to tune back into?
I always like the cover records because I don't know if you remember there was a tribute Merle Haggard record that came out. It was a while. I was living in Denver when it came out, so it was a while ago. But you heard Dustin Lynch sing country, and it was his voice is incredible. And it's not that he's bad, but when you're just like you hear these guys do straight up country, you hear them do Merle Haggard songs, you're just like, oh my god! I think Thompson Square did "Chase You Around the Room," and they're just incredible cuts. So I do like listening to those to hear these modern guys and gals sing country because I want to hear what it sounds like, and it usually delivers.
No, that's a great perspective too, to look at it from that way. Because a lot
Yeah,
of times I think I see these cover records and just be like, oh, it's just the same song, different artist. But you do get to see certain artists shine with songs that are written very well and written very intentionally too.
yeah.
Man, so I gotta I gotta write that down on my list to cover later. You know, maybe we'll do an album review over it.
Definitely. Well, it's so huge for making sure the next generation knows what came before.
For
That's
sure, yeah.
yeah. It's just like when they did that Ernest Tubb record, and he the story is he needed the money and he couldn't do it, and all of a sudden all these musicians and singers started. Waylon showed up, George Jones, and they all did songs with him, and the record went platinum, and it got him out of whatever bind he was in. He was sick and older, and I love that stuff.
I mean,
I
we
love
gotta get
country
you
music.
on. Yeah, we have to get you on our Highway Picker Time Machine podcast because Trey and Tucker just every week they review an old album. I think we're trying to do from at least 20 years ago. So they go through all the old records and go song by song and talk about the history behind it. But I mean, you sound like a country history music nerd. Not gonna lie. So
Yeah, my mom
fit
and
in
grandpa
well with
used to.
that group.
Yeah, my mom and grandpa used to play this game with it back when XM first came out, XM radio. You got the little device that hooks up to your stereo, and it would read digitally, the record, the artist, the year, and all this stuff. So they'd sit there and while we're all in the pool, they'd be on the porch playing a game. All right, who sang it? All right, what record is it on? What year? What version is this? And my brother's autistic, so there's just I'm too stupid on my own, is what I'm saying. Luckily, I had all these smart people who obsessed about it around me, and I just kind of soaked up a little bit.
You were just listening in, trying to
Yeah, I was.
memorize the
Yeah,
answers. Oh, yeah, no, I definitely see where I don't think you're beating the old man allegations here with the way that you
oh,
talk about.
nope.
Nope. Oh, you fit in well. Stay true to yourself for sure. But I know you just got back from kind of a long road trip. I know you're getting ready to head out again. What do you have coming up next? Do you have any projects? Any kind of writing new music? Events going on?
Writing nonstop. I'm with Chestnut every weekend through the rest of the year. I'm gonna go back home for Christmas. We'll be playing a bunch out in Arizona, and I'm gonna try and book a couple gigs in New Mexico and Texas. And I'm going to just meet some people, see if I'm going to work with them. Some absolute studs. And yeah, just basically it's just write, record, release, repeat. That's just That's the cycle. Just keep
That's
putting songs out and hope eventually one sticks and I can hop on a tour.
hell yeah, for sure. Well, I'm really looking forward to listening to some of that new music. I know you just came out with Whiskey a couple weeks ago. I really
Hmm.
enjoyed that one.
Thank you.
And I'll have to check out the music video for that too, because I've seen a couple clips and it looks great. Um, but as far as social media goes and where to find you, your music's on Spotify, is on Apple Music as well.
Yeah, anywhere you can steal, buy, stream, download, Napster, whatever. Anywhere and everywhere. It exists.
Awesome. Okay. And then it's Sunshine James Co. on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. And we will definitely put that in the episode description. YouTube, same thing, just
Yeah.
Sunshine James.
YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, we thought it was cute because it's Sunshine James Co. Because I was living in Colorado, the company in Colorado, get it? And so that's why that is what it is. But
You know, that makes sense. I never even thought about that.
when you gotta explain it, it's not that cute. All right, it's not that great an idea.
It's Sunshine James, Colorado, but he's actually not in Colorado anymore.
But I hate that place. No, I'm just kidding. Never.
That's why you have a whole song about it.
Yeah.
Go listen to the song if you need to know why Colorado is in there.
Definitely not 17 more songs referencing Colorado coming out ever.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with me today. Really looking forward to it and seeing what you got coming on.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye, guys.
She's my American